Welcome to the Film Garage 208 podcast. My name is Sarah and this is Daniel.
Hello.
Hello. We are kind of like restarting up after the holidays. Not really. We've released a few episodes, but we realized there might be a few more people new listeners.
Yeah.
So we're just a podcast to chat with local business entrepreneurs, pick more about their brains, just learn more about them.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
It was supposed to be like more,
what,
but
your intro?
No.
Like a more fancy intro?
Yeah,
You
or
pretty
like
much
the
covered
description of what our podcast is. It's like you get to know the business owners more versus numbers.
Yeah.
Literal. It's like you get to truly know a person. That's kind of our whole point.
Exactly.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you pretty much summed it up.
In a long way. So we are doing 1 year follow-ups. So we have, I didn't look at the date for you guys.
It was like early February last year.
Oh, okay. So we're actually really close to 1 year.
Yeah. The podcast came out right before we went to a competition, like early February. So
Okay.
it had to have been like end of January, early February.
Yeah.
That we filmed.
So this is Madi and Ryley.
Owners.
Owners, coaches, everything that are
All of
Odyssey
the above.
Athletics.
Odyssey Athletics.
All of the jobs.
Yeah.
all the hats.
Yes. So I guess where were you last year? What were we kind of talking about? What was going on with you?
I feel like last year we just kind of
It was
did
just
a get to know us
yeah,
and
it
like
was-
where we started and
how the gym came
That's
to
true.
be and
It was your cheer
how we ended up
it was a history.
where
yeah.
we are now. And yeah.
So what was the
just-
big thing on your radar at that time?
I feel like we
It was
were
Worlds, right? Weren't you guys
Yeah.
going to Worlds?
We were right at we were like mid-season last year, and we were going to Worlds, and
What year was that for you guys?
that was year 4. For
year
us.
4.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
we're in year 5
year
right
5.
now.
Yeah,
Okay.
So what's changed since then?
Yeah.
Big changes.
I feel like a lot has changed
Right?
since then.
A lot has been in the process. I feel like it's been a lot of prep work right
I
now.
feel like
Oh,
this
yeah?
year's been like a growth year. I feel like the first 3-4 years we were just like getting
Sure.
our feet under us in the
Okay.
gym, and now it's like we're looking for the big picture and like what's coming next. And I feel like the last year has been a lot of preparation for everything that we have like planned.
Yeah.
And things like that.
So you have big things on the
You're-
horizon.
Big things.
You're
You've
like
got
past
big
the point where
goals.
you know you're not closing and you're ready to expand.
We
and you're
made it to year
past that
5,
weird
yeah.
time.
It's time to go.
definitely. I feel like year 1 through 3 was definitely like all right, like make ends meet. Like
Oh, like
Yeah.
pants on fire, just trying to survive,
Yeah.
you know, and
Every
learn
dollar
how,
back into the business.
Yeah.
probably.
learn
Yeah.
how to run a business and what it
True.
means to, you know, have a community and people who want to be a part of your business and establishing like a culture. And I
That's
feel like
huge.
now it's there and we've built that, and now it's like, okay, we have these people who believe in our business and believe in us, and they want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
So now let's like keep going. And
Yeah. And with
you
your
know.
business, you have a lot more people and like people management and things to wrangle in.
a lot of
Like it's
people.
not just like I'm selling a thing online
Yeah.
per se. Like you're having to manage parents and children
Right.
and
It's like you
so
don't
many things.
you don't only just have a relationship with the athletes, you have
Yeah.
a relationship with their parents, with their grandparents. I mean, I know their siblings and I know grandma and grandpa. Like you are making a connection with essentially their whole family.
You're like in their life.
yeah,
Definitely.
very involved.
This is a life thing.
and
Yeah.
it's hard. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's hard to manage all of that, but it's also very rewarding.
very rewarding. I mean, it definitely was a learning curve as we, started all that, started to build those relationships, especially with us being so young.
Yeah.
We had a lot of parents like kind of questioning, like, is this really going to happen? Definitely. But then as we were able to essentially just prove ourselves,
It's the only way you can really do it.
Yeah.
True. It's
and
true.
so we just had to keep our nose to the grindstone and keep going and
Yeah.
show that. And I think it's paid off. I think we not only have proven to our families and their parents and the grandparents and the siblings, but also people in the community. I
For
think they're
sure.
definitely noticing too.
I do feel like we've got like a community behind us now, where the first few years of the business, people were still trying to, I don't want to say like buy in, but they were trying to get to know us.
Just
and-
testing the waters a
Yeah.
little bit.
And now we have like I do feel like there's like an army of people who are like
That's so
all
great.
in with what we've done. And
Yeah.
that feels really special to have built something
Obsessed with the gym.
bigger than ourselves. Yeah, for sure.
That's huge.
We have, and talking about the culture that we've built, and we have kids. They're not kids now, but like previous athletes that have,
they grow with you.
Yeah, they grow with us. We get wedding invites as they grow up, and I mean, they have tattoos of the things of the
odes to
gym.
the gym.
Which is
Uh-huh.
such a memorable,
So it's just
impactful thing.
Yeah,
It
In
really
a kid's
is.
life. Like kids listen to coaches more than parents sometimes.
Sometimes
And
it's true.
at
sometimes we
that
spend
age.
In a
more
different way.
time with
Yeah,
them.
in
it's
a different
different.
way.
Yeah.
for
They
sure.
come in and they're like, I need to talk to you about something that
That's so sweet.
It's sweet. We have a really great group.
And to
of
have that
kids.
relationship with them that they can feel like they can come and talk to you. That's huge. And especially for a parent to know that their child has like a safe space and a safe person that they can talk to. That's really cool.
We have a couple kids who we've been coaching since even like at our old gym, and they're seniors now, and it's just like
High school seniors.
yeah, I'm like, it's your last year of cheer. I'm like, I
Aw.
feel like I'm like my child is like going on, and
Seriously though.
so it is really cool what we've built over the last few years. But also, like we always say, like we started it, but like the people that came and helped us build it are just as much a part of the environment as we are.
Yeah.
So what kinds of things have you done over this last year to grow, like physically?
Physically, we
Like
bought
added
All
a
of the
new
above.
Added more
floor.
teams.
So
Yes,
we
okay.
we bought a new floor that's in with the works for like our expansion.
The amount of equipment
Right. That's
that
not
we've-
there, right? That's
No,
in storage,
it's literally
right?
in a trailer in our
I
driveway.
remember you mentioned that. Okay.
And for you, a new floor isn't just like laying down floor. It's like a whole
it's
like
a whole
springs
thing.
and like
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
of stuff.
Springs and then 2 layers of birch
Birch,
wood and
yeah.
new
Huh.
mats
whole
on
bunch
top.
of
And
mats.
Okay.
I mean,
So-
the amount of equipment that we've already bought and it's
investment.
ready.
big investment for sure.
For this next phase of what we're going into is definitely part of our growth.
It kind of like fell into our lap too. We knew someone who was selling, and we were like, we don't have anywhere for it to go right now, but we're going to have somewhere for it to go soon. So we may as well jump on this opportunity because
I love
they
that.
don't just pop up.
No,
for
it's almost
sale.
like it's meant to be when that happens. Like
Yeah.
weirdly, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
I feel like I have to do this. Like,
Yeah.
this is
When
this
Riley
is supposed to
mentioned
happen.
that she had reached out and was like, hey, I'm selling my floor, I was like, I feel like we have to buy
Yeah.
it. Like
Yeah.
we can't not, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I would
So-
say definitely this whole like past year, it's been
Weird stuff
one
like
thing
that.
after another like that of things just falling into place.
Yeah.
Meeting the people that we need to meet at just the right times.
The gym has grown like athlete wise. You know,
Yeah.
we have 7 teams this year. Last year we only had 6. Well,
No.
we grew in like different ways where we have
Yeah.
more of our teams that compete all year with us.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a lot more of it's called our elite teams. So
Okay.
we had a whole nother team that we added on to our core group of teams, and our team numbers have grown. Like we've usually competed with like 11 to 12 athletes. This
Yeah.
year we're at like 16 to 17
That's
athletes.
awesome.
So
That's a lot.
That's true. When we recorded you guys last time, there were so many new faces.
yeah.
Yes.
So many new faces. Really cool.
And our younger programs, that's like less, I say less competitive, but they just don't compete as often.
Sure.
It's more of a stepping stone into like the bigger program. Those teams have grown. We have like 10 kids on those teams, which they've been smaller in the past, especially where
5
Cool.
kids, 6
Because
Yeah.
how
kids.
young is that age group? That's pretty young.
that's 4 to 6 is our youngest team.
Are
Okay.
you finding that these kids are coming from other teams or just like fresh new kids?
We have seen people like come from other like experience, like other gyms and other places like that, but also just people who message us on Instagram and they're like, I want my kid to be a part of this. Like, how do I sign up? You know?
That's cool
so-
to get someone who hasn't ever done it before to just like
All
want to
new
do that. 'cause
person.
it's-
And a lot of the kids in that program are like just totally new to cheer and just want
I
to
was
be
gonna
a
say,
part.
I feel like a handful of those kids are definitely just new to the industry and new to all of it.
It's probably fun
That's
to
really
teach
cool.
that though.
It really is.
Like-
I coach the little 4 to 6-year-olds, and man, they just are the best.
Yeah.
And they're just like, you know, just watching them learn and get to experience this. The first time we competed we have a really tiny girl on that team, and she was like, I want to go do it again. She's like 5 years old.
That's
and
so
it's
sweet.
just the sweetest thing. So
Oh my gosh.
it's really fun to get to be there, like
Yeah.
with them experiencing those
Totally.
things. Cause I've experienced this my whole life. And then now I feel like I get to do it again, like through them. And it's
Yeah.
just, it's really fun.
Uh-huh.
And
That is
our
really
daughter's
fun.
on the team,
Yeah.
and it's
That's
just,
true.
it's fun. So
Is your son gonna join at all?
we
or
told
are
it.
you-
We
How
told,
old is he now?
He's
not
3.
He's
okay.
3.
He technically we could do it, but we've always just been, if he wants to and it shows any interest, we'll let him.
Then we'll
We
let
have a
him,
little
but-
boy on our baby bolts, which is the little team, and he is just the cutest thing. So
Well, and his
Does
little
he show
brother
interest
wants to
in-
do it too.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I think he does other sports too. We have a boy that's on our senior teams that plays baseball and does cheer. And we always joke that his buddies probably have no idea
What he does.
what
This
he
whole other
does
life
on
he has right
yeah,
now.
it's like a secret life.
He lives
but-
a double life.
That's so funny.
And he's like, I just got done at the Diamond and now I'm coming to cheer practice.
but he's
you
like the
know?
coolest one there.
He
He's the one who
is.
could do like all the tricks and
He
like
is.
the
And
strongest one, I'm
he's-
sure.
Well,
Yeah.
he's really small. He's only like 12.
Really?
And so he's a flyer and we put him up in
That's
the
so
air.
funny.
And
No way.
Yeah, it's fun.
And so his buddies are probably just like have no idea what he
No,
does.
that's so funny.
Yeah. And it's fun to have seen like his dad kind of grow into it too and be like, no, this is really good for him. And,
Yeah.
you
It's
know,
impressive.
we've always wanted we've always wanted Odyssey to be a very, like boys, girls, everyone feels
Just
like
open and welcoming to
Totally.
anyone that
it's not like
wants.
pink and frilly and
Yeah.
all this
100%.
stuff. It's just athletics and
I feel like it has that vibe.
Yeah.
The times we've been in there,
Yeah.
it definitely doesn't feel like
Like,
I would feel totally
Not
fine
like a girls'
joining
club.
that team.
Yeah.
Like anybody could hang out
It's
and
just-
like
and the
it'd be great.
like the girls love it too. You know, they don't need all that.
Sure.
And that's
Well,
a big
yeah.
part of, I feel like, shows like you and I in that because we both love it and it's like good for you know,
Sure.
he's brought something to it. I've brought
the
something.
power
to
couple dynamic of like a male and a female
Yeah.
strong in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
And
really
It
so-
cool.
definitely helps.
it. We always wanted it to be a place for everyone.
So initially, Odyssey, when you very first started, there was a third partner, right? That you guys kind of broke away from.
Yep.
Before that
Yeah.
happened, was the branding the way it is now, or is that like kind of you guys like that's come through into the business?
I feel like it's very much come through us. Like that first year, we just were establishing even what
Sure.
the brand was. And then she wasn't involved for very long. And so then I feel like once, and like just being us together, it just kind of fell into what it was supposed to be. And,
Totally.
It's definitely grown into what it is.
Yeah.
For sure.
and I feel like we've really tried to stay true to ourselves through the branding too, to like, and people say that they're like, even we've spoken with her since, and she's like, it's you guys, like it's everything that you two are. And so,
Sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like you've both done a good job of doing that, and I feel like a lot of people struggle with their businesses of balancing like their personal interests or like opinions versus like what the business really like would benefit from.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a balance for sure.
It really
There
is.
definitely is a balance to that. And I think that's something that we've learned over the last 5 years of if you can stay true to yourself and that bigger picture vision and like hush out all the white noise of the opinions of your customers even and things like that, what you stay true to will benefit you in the long run for sure.
like
Yeah.
not wanting to cater to anyone else. But of course,
Which sounds harsh, really, but,
But it's you don't want to change your goals just
Right.
because someone's like, that's stupid. It's
Yeah.
like, actually, you don't know anything. That's a great idea. Like,
I do feel like the first couple of years, it was hard to not like, oh gosh, like, oh, you're right. Like maybe we should do that, you know? And then once we started just being like, no, we have a vision. I think things started to get better. You know?
Yeah. One of our parents told us this quote, and it's so true and so factual. You could be the juiciest peach on the tree and someone's not going to like a peach. Like,
You know?
Yeah.
sure.
it just is how it is.
But you're
and
still a juicy peach.
you're still a juicy peach and you still got
No,
it
I like
all.
that.
Yeah.
That's good.
And
That's
if
great.
you stay to who
You're not
you
for
are,
everyone.
you're a peach. You're not an apple.
Yeah.
You're not an orange.
But that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with us or any. It just
Yeah.
is, you know.
Yeah.
But you still, for your own sanity, just
Yeah.
Yeah.
staying
Absolutely.
True to yourself.
And then as your business grows, it's easier to make decisions
Yeah.
when it comes to like branding or looks because you like have a thing that's original. You're not like you're like copying someone else.
Which I feel like we've noticed that in the last couple of years. Like we haven't struggled with those decisions because we already kind of have
that
laid
groundwork.
the
Sure.
groundwork. And
It's definitely made it easier.
yeah, for
It makes
sure.
it so easy once you have, we were talking about that the other day with someone else where it's like, once you have the basic steps of like what it looks like, it's hard, or it's easier to kind of continue that.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
And
know.
build on and make
Yeah,
better. You
exactly.
Know?
You grow and
Like
evolve
even
a little bit.
thinking about like the first video we ever made with you guys. Like now I feel like
Right.
it's everything always is like it's the same idea, but now we just have all these
everything's better each
Yeah,
time.
it's just
Yeah.
we're like,
Better.
let's try this, let's do this. But
still on brand.
yeah, very on brand. Everything like matches well, which
For
is
sure.
good. So, and it's so important. I feel like even though it's a cheerleading gym, it's so important what you give off to the world. You know.
Well, and even the steps of that, it's so much more than a cheerleading gym now.
It's more than a cheerleading
So
gym.
much more.
It's
Yeah.
way more than that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's with everything that's been in the process and the people that we ran into, I mean, this facility is turning into, just not a cheerleading gym. It's turning into a youth training facility.
So you guys have been kind of hinting at it, like the changes and your ideas of things going on. So what's going on?
I feel like it was probably like a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, we started kind of talking about like what the future of Odyssey like looks like.
Yeah.
And like with talking about what we've been talking about, where we've for the last few years have just been trying to establish the gym and survive, and every penny goes back into the gym, and now it's to the point where we have a little more freedom and we've done all of that. Like I feel like that we were in the trenches, and now we can start to have those conversations where it's like, what's next? We made it out of the 5 years, we made it through COVID, we did all that. Like, so what's coming next? And we both have had like a mutual feeling that like the gym's meant to be like a bigger and
even more inclusive environment than what it already is.
Okay.
And Riley obviously never did cheer, and we have a son. And
Obviously.
and
Which I would have never thought, actually. I would have never thought, obviously.
he played football in high school
Yeah.
and in college and stuff. And so we've always kind of had this, okay, well, what does this look like for, there's parts of
Athletes
his life
in general.
that
Yes.
he wants to
Sure.
incorporate into the gym that like we haven't necessarily been able to.
Okay.
Also, we have limited space with where we're at now. So
Sure.
we kind of sparked this conversation of, what is the future for Odyssey? And then we had a son, and we were like, what if he wants to play football and not have anything to do with this? But, he knows a lot about that type of a thing. And so we talked about just building more of like I don't want to say like a one-stop shop, but
But a inclusive center that any sport and any athlete can go to and feel
receive
safe and get high quality training from.
really good training and
Okay.
I think
be
it's
a
a
part
cool
of
concept.
It's going to be a
community.
very cumulative group of coaches that we've already started gathering that are proving to be the best in their industry in the area.
And we want to stay true to ourselves too. We don't want to like cheerleading will always be like our specialty, but we love the idea of having like more parts to the gym that and
Just like well-rounded in other
and
areas.
like there are things that we have felt like would benefit our athletes if we had more like opportunities at our own facility for them to take strength lessons or
So is that what you're
speed
thinking?
lessons
Like
and
strength
and speed and things like that. And
Okay.
so but also a place we get calls all the time because we have people in our community and we live somewhere really cold. People are like, do you have any space for
Constantly.
our,
Yeah.
our grid kid team to come and throw the ball? Or,
There you go.
we need our quarterback
Yeah.
to just throw, but it's cold and all the time we have to be like, we just don't have this time or the space in the gym to have you guys come in. And so
Sure.
that kind of has always been something Riley was like, how cool would it be to have, turf in here and a place for
It is surprising
that type
there's
of a
not
thing.
that
Like a
here.
big complex here.
As
Mhm.
cold
So
as it
bizarre.
is year round.
A complex,
Yeah.
And that's getting this idea across. And as we've developed it over the last year, it's been hard to almost convey what it truly is going to be.
Really?
It's in our head.
People
but-
aren't understanding a sport complex for
Well,
people to come and play
I think
sports.
the cheerleading thing is like where
They're confused with that?
They get stuck on that.
because it's Odyssey Athletics will always be cheer and tumbling, but we just like to have another a bigger facility for more people to benefit from the quality training that we know that we can give out, and it benefits all of our cheerleaders in the same.
For
same
sure.
breath.
No, I think
breath.
it's smart because right now everything's separated. Like you go to a baseball complex or you go to a football complex or a soccer complex or you go to like the YMCA, which is just going to have basketball courts, a pool, and a gym.
Well, even around
but
here,
there's not the space.
I don't even think they have that. I'm like, you have like
That's like, but
he
yeah,
has
it's
it
like
that that's in
like
Boise
best
for
case
him.
scenario.
I'm like,
Best
us
scenario.
here, they're like at the rollerblading rink.
Yeah. So pretty much everyone's
Like,
divided.
there's nowhere to go.
There's nowhere to
Right.
go.
Yeah.
You could be having kids coming in thinking they love a sport and then seeing another kid doing another sport and like possibly finding a new hobby or like
Right.
who knows, or finding something that they're better at.
And we love the idea of like you being able to bring your son and he could take a strength class or a speed class, and your daughter is taking a tumbling class at the same time, you know?
I love it.
And we've gotten people who will be like, hey, we heard about, you know, we know this guy who trains our son. He recommended you guys for tumbling, you know? So there's a lot of people who do want their kids to be in sports, and they're all over the place. Yeah.
If you could add in like a little skate park section in your building and do like
cool.
skate
That would be
classes.
sweet.
That would be
Yeah,
cool.
'cause
Yeah, I would.
we
love
need that. Yeah.
There was a guy in Hawaii that did it for like little
That's
kids.
cool.
He would teach like, and I want Eve.
That was almost the muse for a second.
I
He
want
was
Eve
like,
to
do
do
we
it.
turn this into an indoor skate park?
You know what?
And then I was like, who's going to be the teacher?
Yeah, I was like, not me,
I love that.
but I want that to be a sport kids could do too.
Yeah,
Just
especially
other things,
around
just
here
other
where
things.
like
Well,
that
If
would
you have the
probably
extra
be,
space, you know,
we might
and
have
you're like,
the
what
extra
should we do with this corner?
might have the extra
Put a
space.
little ramp. Yeah.
So it's just been big dreams for sure for the
Okay,
last
so this is
year.
also
What are you gonna
kid
call it?
focused too. So like you
It's the
want
same, Odyssey
children
Athletics.
to be able to come. Like a gym, sometimes people aren't like, my
Yeah.
teenage is not going to the Apple. You
No,
know?
it's
like,
not even like, it's not like a workout gym.
Yeah.
More like it's a classes
Classes.
all the time.
Yeah.
Okay,
They would
sign up
be,
for
They
class.
would be signing up for classes.
Okay.
No
They're
matter
not
what.
hanging out there all day.
Well,
No,
and the
yeah.
way we truly want it to be ran, and we have kind of talked about this with some of the people that we're talking to, and they're coming on board with us, is this place isn't going to be necessarily like, we're going to have a full weight room there. We're going to have turf. We're going to have all the equipment necessary.
Yeah.
And so the question got brought up of, is it going to be open to the public? Can people come and just work out? And like, and that's not the idea. The idea is going to
yeah.
be more of an inclusive environment for these kids
Like
that
a-
want to be better.
Like a club, kind
yeah,
of.
for them to feel safe here,
Yeah.
and kind of a clubhouse for them.
Totally.
Like, special for them.
It's a bit exclusive
You're gonna
to
have to
this
train people a
group
little bit.
that
Sure.
wants to do this.
Yeah, I think people have to like,
Train customers to.
understand
we even have to like, would that work? You know, like we're still trying to figure out what
I think that
that
I think
sounds
it'll
great.
work.
and
I
like
don't
just
know.
a safe
No, I
place
don't-
for kids
Yeah.
to just come and train and get better. And sports was always a big part of both of our lives.
Yeah.
And there was nothing like, I feel like what we really needed around here. And so that's just always been a big why
Just
for
like
us.
easy access.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like there's always like, I feel like you
Mhm.
take a flyer here or there from just like a random, but there's not like a set place that you go and you
Yeah.
find this.
You can do this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a cool thing too. When I think back to like maybe high school times where my friends would have their coaches, and like you have friends that are in different sports, and for those seasons you're kind of in different worlds. Like they're in their thing and you're on your thing, but like if you're always training at the same place, there's always like that little piece of like connection, I guess. of,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Well,
That's
and
a
that's
fun
the
idea
concept.
too. Mhm.
that Odyssey Athletics logo just like around, and it means a lot to more than just one group of people. And also we know that like we can't do it all by ourselves.
Yeah.
Sure.
Cheer's our specialty. Like that's always where we'll be.
Yeah.
But bringing on coaches who are passionate about speed training and about,
Yeah.
you know,
Strength
and
Baseball and
so
track and
having
Yeah.
just like a group of people who are specialists in their own field, and we can all kind of train under one roof and create like a big community
Yeah.
of people.
And
That'd be
as
really cool.
coaches, as we, you are who you surround yourself with. And so as we've kind of learned about the coaches in the area and where there's who specializes in what, by gathering those top tier coaches and putting them all in the same room, I think as coaches, we're all going to get better
Yeah.
too.
For sure.
We're going to feed off of each other, and the
Totally.
energy in that and the culture in the gym is just going to grow to be something
That's a great point.
greater than,
And I think another big thing behind all of this too is like, I do feel like cheerleading in our community, it doesn't have like I'd say the reputation that I would love for it to have. And a lot of the time people are, even like when our kids have an injury and they go to the doctor's like, cheerleading, like you are you're done basically to be letting your kid do that sport.
Yeah.
And
It's definitely unique in
saying
this
it's
area
dangerous?
though.
Is that why?
What?
They think it's dangerous? That's
yeah,
why?
like, or they'll just talk down about it to them. Like, if I was you, I wouldn't let my kid do that, you know? And
Well,
it's
a
like,
lot of the issue of that too, especially in this area, is the training that the coaches have is not
so people do
safety.
get hurt, and people, there are more injuries when you're being trained by people who aren't necessarily qualified. And so opening people's eyes up a little bit more to what All-Star Cheer is, through a bigger community of people. And like the boy that plays baseball, that's a perfect example. I mean, his little sister did cheer, and he would come to the gym and be with his mom, and we ended up needing someone to fill a flying position, and his mom was like, what about Drake? And I was like, is Drake?
Oh, it was Drake.
I was like, great. Is Drake into that? Because like, if he is, like, we can teach him. Like,
and she's like,
he's doing so great too. Seeing him now, he's doing so great.
And she was like, you know, he's shown interest. Like, I'm sure he would do it.
Yeah.
And he was all game.
She was really worried. She was like, do you think he'll be able to do it? You know? And we're like, well, if he's invested, we can help coach him to do it. And now, I mean, he's phenomenal. And I think it's a perfect example of what can happen when someone is brought into our world and kind of can see what we're doing.
Yeah, I think they just don't truly know what's going on. So like my perspective, I moved here in the middle of high school from Maryland. And in Maryland, we had our cheer team barely existed. Like our school cheer team barely existed. It was like maybe 5 girls that they barely got to go on the team. No one could even lift anyone in a pyramid. It didn't exist. Like this was not a cheer team. So that's what my thought was. Like cheer was like in the movies kind of. Like I'd never had any experience of that. And then I go to Idaho Falls High School and I would see like the all-star cheer girls coming in with like their bows on a couple days that they would have like competitions and stuff. And I'm always like, what is this? It's just such like an elite cheer thing. Like they'd go off for competitions. It was just a whole other world that I didn't realize existed. But at the same time, I like was interested in like gymnastics stuff, and I would watch all the gymnastics TV shows and stuff. Yeah. Or if I had realized that was like really the exact combination actually of all of that, that's would have been really cool. Like there's just so much more that I had no idea.
And I think a lot of people just don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
No.
High school cheer definitely dominates in our community. Like with athletes.
High school cheer.
Yeah. They
just
you know, we have a large
cheer.
group of girls that choose high school cheer. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. We have a lot of kids who do both, that cheer at their high school and they cheer with us. But a lot of the girls, I feel like, don't really realize like how much more that they could get out of the sport that they love if they were to give All-Star even just a little shot. And I did both in high school. I started doing high school cheer first and then found All-Star. And the minute I found...
But the high school cheer here can actually like, do stunts. I mean, they can do a cartwheel.
Yeah, it's definitely
Mine was probably couldn't do a cartwheel.
Definitely better than Maryland, I would say. But still, it's still behind, you know?
Yeah.
It's not... And a lot of the girls are very talented. You know, we'll watch kids and we'll be like, gosh, she's got so much potential. But certainly there's a ceiling there and they can only do so much. And same with the rules and stuff in Idaho especially don't permit for very advanced anything. And so
like for schools,
once they're there,
it's
just they're not allowed to do certain things. Which is good. Sure. There's probably not a lot of people ready to teach those things.
Like that's maybe not.
Let's not do that. But just if they would kind of step into the realm of what we do, it would really probably change a lot for them and give them opportunities that they maybe wouldn't have otherwise.
Sure. Well, what we've noticed too is there's a whole handful of high school cheerleaders that will do high school and then they're like, well, we want to go cheer in college. And
is it different? Is it really different?
The caliber, because Idaho is so far behind. I mean, if you travel 3 hours south, you will find some of the very best cheerleaders in the entire nation in Utah.
Yeah, like Utah, like Weber State.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And so what happens is because the Idaho high school system and cheer is so far behind, those kids get to a point where they're capped out over what their coaches in high school are capable of doing. And so they'll come to us and they'll be like, I want to cheer in college. What do I need to do?
We
and
get
we're like,
we get that a
okay,
lot.
well, let's do this and this and this. And
Or we have kids who were like have invited to come cheer with us over the course of their high school years, and
That you see and you're like, you should come
and
cheer.
we're like, you're really talented.
Yeah.
You know, we'd love to coach you and help you reach whatever goal it is that you're looking to meet. And to know nothing against them, they maybe just feel more comfortable. They've always been on their high school team or whatever, and we still have relationships with them regardless. But then when it gets time to go to college, we'll get a lot of like, what do you think about this? What should we do with this? You know, and we're always happy to help because we love to see people go on. But
I mean, that's
like,
the end goal.
It always tends to be then people come to us and they're not going to their high school coaches. They're coming more to us. And, you know, where I cheered in college and things like that, I have that experience.
Potentially realizing it too late.
Yeah.
Maybe, or later
like
than
a little
they
bit like,
could have.
But then we have an example of, we had an athlete who did decide to join her senior year. And I mean, she just soared.
Fell in love with it.
And was like, and she told us all year, she's like,
she wasn't
why
already
didn't
in
they?
it before?
She just cheered at her high school.
Okay,
before.
so she kind of
Yeah, and but all season long, and we had her last year. She was like, why didn't I do this sooner?
That's
and
awesome.
I'm like, but at least you're here now. And like, she went and she cheered at she's cheering at one of the best schools in the country,
right now.
For cheerleading. So that was a really cool thing too. And she gave us a shot and didn't know anyone. And
that was only her last year that she came with you, because I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
It's just her senior year.
Yeah.
And now she's cheering at Trinity
Yeah,
Valley.
she's doing great.
Wow, cool.
And of course, a lot of that was her own hard work.
Of course.
Of those few years where she started cheer. She only cheered for a few years before she came to us.
Yeah.
But we were just able
was
to
so
help
good.
her
Help
take
facilitate
that to the
to
next
that
level.
level.
You know, and it's a good.
You didn't let that talent get
relationship.
wasted.
No.
It was going wasted. You
And
know, if you're the wrong
we
coach
saw her
and-
at the at districts the year before she joined us.
Or you
And-
see someone who's that good and you push too hard and then she like quits.
there you go.
It's a balance.
And
It's
we
a balance.
told her, we were
There is
like,
a balance there.
you're so good and you're so talented and we'd love to just help you
Yeah.
go to the next level, you know. And
So you approached her.
yeah,
I'm
we
gonna hit
did tell her,
record.
and she decided to join. And I know
That's
it was
cool.
scary for her, and I think that's a lot of what it is.
Yeah.
Are our friends,
No, I
friends
totally-
cheering, and you know,
It's a very
Yeah.
friend thing.
very friendly.
Yeah.
It is, and it's really important to them.
It's
and
like
we know
social
that.
group time
Yes.
versus
Yeah.
like
They spend a lot of time
their
together. And,
resume.
Correct.
Kind of.
Yeah. Kind
You
of.
know, like it's always perspective afterwards. Like I look back and I'm like, oh, I should have done
I
that
should have
so
done
different.
that.
Yeah.
But
If I had known.
when you're 16, you
No,
know,
you have no
your
idea.
best friend cheers at another place. You're gonna go cheer where she cheers, you know. And so
Exactly.
we know that, and
Yep.
that's why we're always we never want to like push too hard, but when we see those athletes, we're like, hey, you know, we'd love the opportunity to coach you.
Yeah.
And
So I don't know how much how much more you're wanting to talk about the gym, but what kind of stuff is it going to have? Are you able to talk about that?
I think so.
Yeah,
More of the
I think.
details?
I mean, we're looking at not only doubling what we're in now, but we're probably tripling in size.
Yeah.
So it'll be like a 10,000.
If you want like
10,000
another
square feet
field
is
in
what
there.
we're hoping for.
Yeah, we'll be about
Wow.
10,000 square feet total
Yeah.
of a facility. We'll have 2 full spring floors on top of full tumbling equipment on our side alone.
Yeah.
All this is going to be kind of like open space style. So from our side to the turf side, we're all going to be commingled, which is I'm excited
We'll
about.
have a nice area for like parents to be able to watch their athletes and
Okay.
Yeah.
a nice
Not like the viewing deck area more? Or are you
like
going to
we'll
do kind
have
of
a
something
viewing
like that?
deck, kind of like a mezzanine type
Yeah.
but much
situation.
larger scale.
Okay.
Obviously.
Okay.
Because we'll be catering to much more parents
Right,
now.
right. It's
We'll
true.
have about, I think it's going to pan out to be about 4,000 square feet of turf space, open turf space, as
Okay.
well as like
Which
a
is
full
about what our
weight room.
gym is now. So
Yeah.
Wow.
Sure.
Nice.
Mhm.
yeah.
Because
So-
usually in gyms, they're just a small little,
Like
Yeah.
a
like you
strip.
can push a sled or something. That's about it.
Yeah. So in the facility, the new facility, we'll be able to, I mean, a full high school football team probably could come in and hold a whole practice there if
Okay.
needed.
It's crazy
Quite
the amount
honestly.
of business you're probably going to get that you like, don't even realize yet from just these teams. Like it's something that's not out there. Like
Yeah.
college
No.
teams will probably come
Right.
and do
You never know.
trainings
We never
there.
know.
Like
And we'd love to have like camps in the
Yeah.
summer.
right, you could host
and stuff like
combines
that.
there and like just all.
And
yeah.
that's the end
Yeah,
goal.
summer
Like
camps.
we're
That's a good
working on a
idea.
couple like mega camps right
Yeah,
now.
that's a
So we'll
great idea.
have specialized mega camps for football athletes, for cheerleaders, and they'll be all hosted at the facility. So
That's smart.
That'd be great. So this would be like a whole nother business, a whole sector
Yeah.
of the business now.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
So yeah,
It's
exciting.
And make kids
Scary.
around here feel like they have that opportunity at something bigger.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just you're going to like
For
a
sure.
little gym. It's
that opportunity that
really cool.
we feel like we never had growing up
yeah.
Well,
to provide.
And I feel we've visited so many gyms, like between traveling and
Probably some of the
Oh my
best,
goodness.
nicest gyms out there.
but also some of the worst.
Some of the
like
worst,
you
yeah.
go
Some of
in
the-
and it's like dirty.
You know
and
what not to do.
gross, And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
all-star cheerleading is a luxury sport.
For
I mean,
sure.
These parents pay a lot of money,
They
and
should be
it's
clean.
an industry. It's an industry issue, not even so much of like we're
Definitely
not
not us,
astronomical,
yeah.
but the price we have to pay to
Oh.
compete, the uniforms,
Yeah.
everything is really expensive, and so then to walk into a facility that is dirty and has exposed wood and
Yeah.
you
just
know,
not
it
put
just
together, not like
kinda
if you're paying that
mangled
much
and-
Yeah, you
money,
should
It's like take some
Yeah.
pride.
you should feel
and we feel so much pride in our gym, and so I think that has also led into this big vision of a gym is that we want people to walk in there and understand why they're paying what they're paying for their athlete to
They
be
know what their
training.
money is going towards, right?
Rather
Right.
than charging them the exact same amount and having them walk into a gym that's got tattered walls and you know is dirty and
a floor
stinky.
that's falling apart
Yeah.
or
And
Totally.
I just think that there's so much to be said about taking pride in the place where you work, and
100%.
when you're asking people to pay thousands of dollars to train there,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if I was a parent in that situation, I'd be like, no one can even bother to like paint the walls or
Yeah.
finish the bathroom or anything.
Yeah.
Clean
but
the
I'm
floor.
paying you all this
Literally,
money.
though.
Clean the floor.
Yeah.
Hire a cleaner.
It's so funny.
Uh-huh.
We were just talking about this yesterday.
Yeah.
Literally just talking about
Like the most basic
About-
things that people don't do.
yeah,
around
I was
here.
just like, people don't realize it's like the retail background also of like the presentation matters.
yes, absolutely.
Presentation, it shouldn't be dirty. We literally were talking about this yesterday. That's so funny.
Like it's just crazy how many. Yeah, how-
It's a missing
it's-
piece.
Yeah, it's easy to overlook, I guess, apparently, because a lot of people do. But
Mm-hmm.
it's good to hear that you don't, because
It needs to be on
Yeah,
the radar.
Sometimes it's like almost we care too
We
much.
care a
You
lot,
know,
yeah.
we're like,
Mm-hmm.
hey,
Uh-huh.
we can't have lockers that have a code for each
each athlete.
You know,
Even though I
Like,
really
that's not
want that,
realistic.
that's not realistic.
But
But
the
Yeah.
vision is there, and
Mm-hmm.
you know,
one
we can-
day it will be.
One
Yeah.
day it will be like that.
Yeah.
But-
Sure.
and don't get me wrong, the gyms get messy and our gym gets messy and whatnot. But overall, like we care just
You have a standard.
have how they feel when they come in.
Mm-hmm.
And the athlete area tends to get messy.
Oh
yeah,
my
it's like about the
goodness.
whole experience from the moment you walk in,
Yeah.
Yeah.
not just.
And was it 2 years ago we did a total makeover to our gym and put some of our, you know, sayings up on the wall and got a new big backdrop to hang behind our floor, and
Yeah.
people were like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing." It just felt good when you
Elevated
walked in
it.
there.
It feels
yeah,
better.
and changed everything.
Mhm.
So
The way you feel when you walk into a business, I think matters.
so
100%.
our
Oh my God,
standards
this
are
is
That's where the
high.
branding keeps going.
Yeah.
It's the sign.
What?
Get the sign. I want to buy a sign for the front. And
Yeah.
He's trying
This
to.
is a sign right
It's
now.
a sign.
This
It
conversation.
is. It
Everything
is.
happens for a reason.
I guess, have you done any major changes in the last year to marketing stuff? Have you done anything new, or just kind of kept going with what's working?
I feel like we've like built on what
I was
we've
gonna
been
say,
doing.
I don't think we've done anything new, but I think we've done more.
I feel like we have a lot of ideas too. Even like when we sat down with you guys and was like, we want to do this, and this. And it's just like,
You're busy though.
How to
of
get
course,
it,
like getting
yeah.
it all done and all that. But,
Mhm.
you know, we love the idea of like a YouTube channel and, you know, there's so much that
all
we
the other things.
Yeah.
but I feel like this year we've kind of stepped closer to that goal where we're doing more things. And last year was a really good marketing year for us too.
Mhm.
And I think that really aided to a lot of our growth that we've had this year. So
Sure.
That's good.
Keep that
Yeah.
momentum going.
yeah. We
Well,
did
and-
those parent interviews and things like that, which we've seen so many people try and replicate that at other gyms, and it's because it's a cool thing to get to listen to people.
It is.
And so that was, I think we've just really continued to build on those ideas that we've had.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
no, I feel
was
like-
there a moment in the past year that has surprised you in a good way or a bad way? Maybe a good way.
trying to
Sometimes you
think
tend to
how
remember
shocked
the bad
I-
ways.
Yeah.
Things more. I feel like we've been surprised by our people. Like I said, how we felt like we've really feel that army behind us. Like there have been situations where maybe in year 1 or 2 that would have like crippled me.
Sure.
But then now it's like I see these people who are like have bought into what we're doing, and I feel like we've had a few of those like aha moments this year where it's like, oh my gosh, like, you know, we will get a message or someone will say something to us about the gym, and I'm like, you feel that way? Like I feel that way about the gym, but like you do too, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that like we've talked about, just feeling that community has been a big surprise for us this year because we both suffer from severe imposter syndrome and just
so
feeling like, why would why us? Why would anyone ever? You're right. Everyone hates the gym. Like, you know, and
I quit.
I quit.
Not doing it anymore.
Why would it be us? You know? And this year I feel like it's almost like that imposter syndrome has been like shut up a little bit.
Like you deserve it more so. You
Yeah.
worked hard. You deserve this.
And then people like showing up for us and like showing us that they care about us, because there have been situations where we do not feel that way, and we feel like everyone's against us, and that's been special.
I think it was, we were talking to someone the other day where it was like, you know, you've made it when someone like defends you without you having to say anything.
Yeah.
It's like someone is hearing something say,
Well, that's like that situation.
and they like kind of defend you without you having to say anything.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, that's
So you know
it.
they truly have your back, and it's very validating.
Yeah.
I had a situation where it was, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but someone had posted about me specifically on Facebook, you know, life in Idaho Falls or whatever. And she shared like all of our screenshots of our conversation that we had.
Yeah.
And I was, of course, inundated
see it? You're
with
like, what the
messages.
hell?
I didn't even see it, but I
we had phone calls
coming in, and
have
I was
you
like,
seen this?
Have you? And I was like, no, what are you talking about? And I was really mortified at first because I had no idea what was going on.
Totally.
And,
What could this be?
Yeah.
and I was like trying to just catch up with what was happening. And then
Well, and exactly that. Like, what's
going
on earth
on?
could this
You're
be?
thinking
as
like
soon
the
as
worst
I
things.
started to like grasp the situation, I was instantly like, I was like, I have nothing to, you know, and she shared
Nothing to
every
The
one of
screenshots
our,
are right there.
and,
You
and
saw
I
them.
was so
Everyone saw
proud
them.
of how I spoke to her in the messages, especially over text is hard, but I was so professional, and the whole community got to read exactly what I wrote and then exactly what she wrote to me, and the things that she was trying to accuse me of. Even people who didn't even know us was like, it sounds like the coach was just upholding her gym standards, and
Well,
I don't see how she did anything wrong. And
I loved the comment section in that one.
I
It was everyone was like, actually, have you ever been to a gym before?
Yeah.
Like,
wait, did you see it?
I think I was one of them that sent it to you.
Instantly, like we had our
I'm
families
like,
backing
let me send
us.
this to Maddie real quick.
I did have like,
Our families were backing us up, but you also got random messages from community members.
I'm sure.
people
I'm
in
sure.
the community that were like, I'm really sorry. That probably was not fun, but I just want you to know that like, I felt like everything you said was so professional.
Well, that's
and,
great.
You know, it looks like you're running a great facility, and good luck at your competition this coming week. And it was so, but like I said, I just felt this overwhelming calm after I gathered myself and was like, but I didn't do anything wrong. You know, I just upheld the standards of my gym, and I'm protecting my program, which is a big thing we teach at the gym.
Yeah.
Is to protect the program.
It's like, if you don't hold that standard for her, then like,
Who else?
what's the point? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously not a fun situation, but it's a good example of like some of the things that we've been through, but then like now feeling really confident in what we've done and who I am as a business owner. And, you know, that, like I said, year 1 or 2, I probably would have burned the place to the ground.
It would have been on your mind for a week.
Yeah, I would have been able to.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So, but now it's I can just see that we've gotten so much stronger just from those hard situations, and you know
the little obstacles that you kind of learn through that you never thought would happen.
And to see all the people who have been a part of our gym come to my defense was like really special,
for sure.
You know, and so that was cool.
And a good sign that you're finding your people.
Yeah,
That like
I think that's been our
like
big
everyone
thing this
that's
year.
there, and they like to be there. It's just it's a hard thing to do at first. It takes time.
I think it's the culture too. I think that's this year what shocked me the most is like just the culture that we've always wanted. Everyone's bought into it.
And
Everyone
it's
is
happening
doing
now.
it.
It wasn't even like a moment where all of a sudden we were just like, wait, this is like actually here. Like
the ball's
happening.
rolling and we're not pushing it anymore. And
everyone's just kind of doing this collectively.
Happy and inclusive.
I mean, we there's some practices that we are in the middle of practice and a parent will, on their way down out to the car be like, hey, like, you can push my kid harder.
Yeah.
You can make them work harder. You can
yell at them harder.
Make her condition if she won't do it.
On the flip side of that, like we already have a high standard and we push the kids really hard and we expect a lot from them after they've been trained to do it. But to have a parent come in and be like, listen, like, I know you're hard on them, but like, they can handle this more. Like push them more. And it's like, wait, like I'm not doing this anymore. Like you're rolling this ball even more than I am now. And
like true support is happening. It's like, keep going.
And
try more.
At home, they're being like, that's the worry.
I'm sure your name is at home constantly. Like, I'm going to call Madi and Ryley.
We've helped with punishments before.
Oh gosh.
Hey, my kid did this. Will you give her a extra conditioning?
We're not going to take chair away, but like they need to do extra conditioning because.
And I'm like,
I guess, it's from mom and dad, not us.
Sorry.
Don't shoot the messenger.
It probably hits different too, coming from you guys who are like younger and can relate to them versus like your coach who's like just way older and old school coach and out of date principles and like you do modern things. It's probably like fun to be a part of that for kids.
It's definitely different.
That's what we want. And like Riley said, there's a lot of hard work and we're not easy on them by any means, but
I know. I've been to a couple of your practices.
That one day you guys came to film, I was like,
should we come back and film another day?
Sorry, guys.
No, I love it.
Afterwards, Dan's in the athletic world. He was like, oh, that's fine. He was like, that's nothing.
Yeah, I was like, it's just another day. Just keep recording.
Just keep it rolling.
Okay, so have you noticed any shifts in your industry that might have impacted your work or any changes?
I feel like our industry changes all the time.
Yeah.
We're constantly having to like keep up with the new and upcoming things.
I would say the biggest shift in our industry right now is, like I mentioned earlier, some of the very best cheerleaders, some of the very best in the industry right now are literally 3 hours away from us in Utah.
Sure.
So they're kind of leading the industry standard. And so with them being so close and being friends with them, I mean, we're on a constant day-to-day talking basis with those gyms.
Huge.
We're able to develop a whole lot quicker
As
in the industry as a small gym
community.
than I would say the rest of the country. So I do say that it's kind of developed faster. The style of cheer, the style of what's being taught and how things are done is changed a little bit.
Even from season 1.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot different now.
Like the style of how
the types of routines you're seeing and the types of, choreography and things like that change all the time.
Yeah. So I think
like
that's the biggest
style.
change over the last year. I've seen a big shift over more to the West Coast style. Because if you look at cheer across the nation, the West Coast definitely has a different style than the East Coast.
What's different?
A lot of it is in like the stylistic of how I would say things are taught.
Okay.
And so the way
skills
the
and
kids
stuff.
execute the skills
Okay.
on the West Coast is different than the East Coast.
And both really good.
Yeah,
just
both
different.
are really good. They're just different. And so I think the judges are swaying
Interesting.
more to a West Coast style right now, which is nice.
If that's what
Always,
you're doing,
right?
great.
Yeah. But just being able to be on the inside of what
Sure.
the industry is leading.
On
has
top
been-
of trends there a little bit.
Yeah.
You're staying active.
And able to like ask questions. Like there's the gym that we're friends with. They've been like their gym's been
Going.
as long as we've been alive. You know, they're in
Yeah.
season
Sure.
what, 30?
Yeah, 30.
29 or
Yeah.
30,
Wow.
which is
That's impressive.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be able to, kind of follow
Converse
us
with
too
them
and do it in our own way, but also get good feedback and
Like they've been at year 5 already.
yeah.
10. Like
They've
they
been
can
there.
give you the.
And the conversations that we have with them sometimes are like, no, listen, like we were there, like just
doing
you're
good,
doing
you know,
exactly.
reassurance.
You're further than we were in year
Yeah.
10. Like just keep going. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, to have that reassurance from someone that's that far in the industry and like leading the industry is reassuring too, to know like, okay, like, yeah, we're hard on ourselves, but like, it's okay sometimes. Like,
you're doing the steps that you need to do.
yeah.
So do you have any advice for yourself 1 year ago?
Keep going, man.
I know.
Just keep going.
And like, stop doubting yourself. You know,
Okay.
we really have struggled with that. Imposter syndrome has been a bad part of our journey, I would say, but we just always showed up, and I'm really glad that we did that. And so that would be my advice, would be ignore everyone telling you that you can't or feeling like you're not good enough, and just trust we both have this thing placed on our hearts, and just focus on that, and it'll all just fall into place.
Yeah.
It's still not there yet, but we're closer, and we
closer.
see it, and it's coming. So
If I could tell myself a year ago to listen to yourself, and the right people will always be in your corner. People will come and go from businesses all the time.
They do.
Right? So like, that's a big issue that I have, is like, I take that very personally, but knowing that you've done your very best, and you haven't done anything wrong.
It's not about
either.
you.
Yeah.
That it's a them thing.
That they need something else right now that you're just, that I'm not providing, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make you a bad person.
It doesn't make me a bad person, and it's going to be okay.
Yeah. You're not incapable of that. It's just not what they need right now.
Yeah.
They need something else.
And just stay true to yourself. Just keep going. I think is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
People can notice when you're focused on that, and when you're just focused on, like, I guess when you're floundering.
Yeah.
People can tell when you're focused on like making it work, and they can see those things where you're maybe not there where you totally want to be, but they can see the vision. And
For sure.
And I think all of our people right now would be like, something's cooking. We don't know what it is.
yeah,
but
people want to be a
we
part of
see it.
something that's growing. They don't want to be a part of something that's just like there and just
Just like I said, that ceiling. You don't want to be stuck in that. And especially when it comes to their kids, I know they care a lot about what opportunities they have.
it's literally your kid.
Yeah.
Like
they get one childhood, you know? And like,
this
what do
is
you
now
want that to
shaping
look like?
their life and what they're doing, their after school activities.
We
it's a
spend
big
just
thing.
as much time with some of those kids as they do their parents. So
For sure.
wanting it to be
So take all your tax returns, parents.
Time
Give
to
it
go
to
to
Odyssey.
Odyssey.
It's time to get the new gym ready.
It's getting ready.
Invest.
We'll see you.
hopefully that's our next big announcement.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what is the steps for someone who wants to join Odyssey? Like what should they do?
Well, we're right at a good time right now.
Okay.
It's about time for the start of our new season. So we do a parent meeting and tryouts in May, and so that's really coming up. And then we start our new season in June. So
wow.
reaching out to us through social media, our email and stuff is all available online.
So just follow on socials, keep an eye
I
out for
think
like
social media,
tryouts and all
Instagram
that.
is like the very best way to see what's
All
going
of our
on.
socials have our email and our phone number too. So
Okay.
Sure.
But yeah, it's a good time of year. We're about
So when
starting a new season.
you have your final, is it summit? When is that?
That's in May.
Okay.
So
and
beginning
so then
of
it
May,
just starts right over
They get-
immediately.
we just keep
they
going.
get like a 2-week break.
Oh
and
my
then
goodness.
we start again.
Well,
then
that's
we have
exciting though.
tryouts.
But
And
it's
then-
funny. It's always that 2 weeks. They're like, that was too long.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet it's kind of motivating after going from like that big high of that, and now it's like, okay, let's keep going.
Yeah.
And time
And
to
it's like
start
a
fresh.
restart.
Yeah.
It's always
That's exciting.
it's always nice to have a fresh start, you know.
Yeah.
And they have a long season. It's a whole
Oh
year.
gosh,
so
yeah.
Literally though, 2-week break in their 1 year season.
Yeah.
and they start choreography like 2 weeks after they
Yep.
start up again.
Choreo's
so
already scheduled. They
It's
have
crazy.
choreo
Good for
in
them.
June.
It's
So
like no off season at all.
That's awesome.
No, none.
no.
But that's cool for them.
And that's why we always have to be 10 steps ahead because
Literally.
Try to
though.
be.
we get home from Florida and start right back over. So
Yeah, that's a lot of prep.
yeah, especially with trying to move gyms and all of that.
Yeah.
So we're on top of it this year though.
And coaches
So
and
far.
everything. So are these
Yeah.
classes just going to start once the new place is ready? They won't.
Yep.
Yeah, we're hoping to have a really seamless transition into the new
facility.
for the start of the new year. So
That'd be really cool.
yeah.
Yeah. That's so exciting.
Okay. Well,
big
thank
stuff.
you.
Nervous, but exciting.
Thanks for
It's
having
going
us
to put
back.
you on the map.
I know, we're nervous.
You're already on the map. I'm
But
sure this will like push
the more
it.
we talk about it, I think the better we've kept it a secret for.
I mean, on
really
the
long
map
time.
outside of the gym world, this would be like
for sure.
That's huge.
That's
Yeah.
what we.
Yeah.
That's
the
what we
goal.
want.
Or outside of the cheer world. You know?
But
Okay.
Remember us when you're famous.
you
We'll
guys will
always
be
be
there
around.
Yeah.
filming with
Yeah, I was
us.
gonna say we better be making some
Like I
content.
said,
for
you guys
that,
are
so.
famous in the cheer world.
I love
so
that
You don't
for
know
us.
it, but you are.
Okay, well, this next video, we were hoping to have it like done. I was like, we should
Yeah, it's not
show
ready
them
to show
while
you, but
here
it's close.
so that we
It's
could like
close.
get you reacting to
Yeah.
it, but
Yeah.
it's not ready for that. It's not ready.
Oh,
Unfortunately, I wished it was ready for.
we're excited
That's
though.
okay.
You'll see it later.
Well, for
Okay.
anyone still
Today,
listening,
we can see it today.
Yeah,
Follow
probably
us.
today.
Okay.
follow them.
Yeah, follow us.
Yeah.
Film Garage. We do photo, video, marketing,
And they're the-
content creating.
We
They're
don't
the best.
just
And they're the
podcast.
best.
Yeah,
We
we get that a lot.
seriously-
They think we just podcast, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh no.
Oh,
no.
no.
We do other stuff.
You need to like flash some of your videos you've
I
made
know,
for
right?
us
I know,
on
right?
right
We-
now.
We'll have to
Yeah.
do that. Okay, so Odyssey Athletics, Instagram, Facebook,
Yep. That's where
all
you'll
those
find
things.
us.
Yep.
Follow
Cool.
them. Okay, bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.